Hey guys, it's Lazbro, and it's time to read another chapter of Annabelle. Now, if you all recall what happened last time, Pinocchio sent Annabelle off to her first day of school, and she got into more trouble. She ran into those old swindlers, Honest John and Gideon, and just like they did with Pinocchio, they persuaded her to go to Stromboli's. And as soon as Stromboli saw her, he came up with this plan to use her to capture Pinocchio, because he thinks if Pinocchio knows how to bring puppets to life, so he's going to use Annabelle to lure Pinocchio here and get him to reveal the secret, which of course is the Blue Fairy. Jiminy went back to warn Pinocchio, and they went off to rescue her. So we'll see if they're going to rescue her in this chapter. Well, if you guys are ready, let's jump right into this. Here we go. Chapter 7, A Heated Reunion. Oh boy, this isn't going to go well. Later that evening, as the sun began to set, a crowd of adults and children came from the village to watch Stromboli's puppet show, which hadn't been seen in many years. The stage was set for the big performance, and Annabelle was set to be the star of the night. She thought she was doing it to help Stromboli because he was friends with her father, but it was all a trick that Stromboli planned to hopefully lure Pinocchio back to him so he could capture him again. Annabelle peeked out from behind the curtain, and when she saw all the people, she started to feel nervous.
Gosh! I didn't realize there'd be so many people here.
Suddenly, Stromboli appeared behind her.
You'll do fine out there, Annabelle, my dear, he said, putting his hand on her shoulder.
Just do your performance like we rehearsed. Remember, you're doing this to help me.
Okay, Mr. Stromboli, I'll do my very best,
Annabelle said, forgetting her fears, and smiled with confidence. Good girl. Stromboli patted her head, feeling victorious that he had Annabelle in his clutches, and soon he would have her father, too. Now then, it's time to get ready. You go stand over there, and when the curtain comes up, do your song and dance, okay?
Okay.
Annabelle did as she was told and stood in the center of the stage, waiting for the big show to begin. Soon Pinocchio and Jiminy arrived at the puppet show and entered the tent. Pinocchio removed his hat, fearing that Stromboli might recognize him in the crowd. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Just being there brought back memories of when he performed on stage. After waiting for a few minutes, Stromboli came out to greet the audience. The minute Pinocchio saw him, he clenched his teeth angrily. He's the last person he ever wanted to see again. Ladies and gentlemen, he said in a loud, booming voice, Stromboli, the master showman, that's me, have finally returned to give you the greatest show you've ever seen. He still sounds the same as he did all those years ago, said Pinocchio. Unfortunately, yes, Jiminy agreed. I bet he's got Annabelle behind the curtain there. Tonight, I have an extraordinary performance, Stromboli announced. I have a new star marionette, who can sing and dance without strings. I present to you, Annabelle, the daughter of Pinocchio.
I knew it.
I'm going after her, Jiminy, said Pinocchio, wanting to take action.
Hold your horses there, pal. If Stromboli sees you, he'll make a quick getaway.
But Jiminy, he's got my daughter. I can't let him make her into a sideshow attraction. Take it easy, Pinocchio. We'll have to bide our time. I don't want to see this as much as you, but we must be patient. Pinocchio knew he was right, but it hurt him emotionally that all he could do now was sit and watch.
Oh, Annabelle, if only I hadn't sent you off on your own.
Yeah, you made the same mistake your father made, Pinocchio. And he doesn't want to see his daughter make a fool of himself in front of all these people. I don't blame him, really, man. Anyway. At last, the show began. Stromboli conducted the orchestra, and the curtains came up. There was Annabelle standing in the center of the stage. When the music played, she began to sing. Oh, there's no But as soon as she started, she tripped over a loose floorboard and fell flat on her face. The audience burst out laughing when they saw her trip. Oh boy, there she goes. Oh no, Pinocchio covered his face with his hand and shook his head with embarrassment. Poor Pinocchio. Here she goes, already making a fool of herself as you did, said Jiminy, reminiscing on when Pinocchio performed on stage and fell down the staircase. Yeah, you all remember that. That was hilarious. Go ahead, make a fool of yourself. Then maybe you'll listen to your conscience, right? Anyway, Annabelle was quite embarrassed by everyone laughing at her as she picked herself up. Stromboli was not pleased with her clumsiness, but refrained from exploding and blowing his cover in front of the crowd. Sorry, Annabelle, I thought I fixed that floorboard, he apologized. Let's start again. Pinocchio and Jiminy were surprised Stromboli hadn't gotten angry and exploded as he usually did. He resumed conducting the orchestra, and Annabelle started singing again. Okay, now, this song is actually a parody of a Broadway song. Maybe you guys know it. It was sung by Ethel Merman. I thought it would be nice if I changed it up here, so... My singing is terrible here, so I'm just going to do my best. Annabelle sings, "Oh, there's no puppets like show puppets like no puppets I know. Everything about them is fantastic, every little silly thing they do. Nowhere could you get a happy feeling when you see them taking that final bow. There's no puppets like show puppets, they smile when they are low. Even though you're made of wood, you never fold. You could be standing out in the cold. Still you wouldn't trade it for a bag of gold. Let's go on with the show." That was a cute little song, don't you guys think? I couldn't really come up with any original songs, so I just changed the lyrics for one of the songs I liked. Anyway, the audience was enjoying the show as they watched her dancing along with all the other puppets that dropped onto the stage. Pinocchio wasn't enjoying the show at all, though, as it only reminded him of how silly and foolish he was performing on the stage all those years ago. Annabelle was too absorbed in her performance to notice her father in the crowd. She jumped in the air, kicking and spinning her wooden legs, and spun around in circles while singing merrily and having the time of her life. As the show came to an end, she finished with one last twirl and a hop. "Ta-da!" she shouted, striking a finishing pose. The crowd began clapping their hands and applauding her. Annabelle was so happy that everyone liked her performance. "Thank you, everyone, thank you," she replied, curtsying. Stromboli came up on the stage and stood beside her and bowed to the crowds. "Hope you all enjoyed my show tonight, and our special performer," he told them. "I look forward to seeing you all next year." As the show ended, the townspeople took their children home. Pinocchio waited till everyone had left and snuck back inside to retrieve his daughter. "You better be careful in there, Pinocchio," Jiminy warned him. "Stromboli might try to capture you again." "I'm not scared of him any more," Pinocchio said boldly. "Now that I'm a grown man, I can handle that old gypsy." Jiminy still had an unsettling feeling and hid in Pinocchio's shirt pocket. Pinocchio made his way backstage where he heard Stromboli talking and singing. He peeked through the curtain and saw him sitting at a wooden table with Annabelle and counting all the money he had made from the show. Did I do good, Mr. Stromboli?" Annabelle asked. "You were fantastic, Annabelle," Stromboli said in a big, thundering voice. "I haven't made this much money in years." "Does that mean you're not going to give up on your show?" "Of course not. Thanks to you, my show has become famous again, even greater than when your father performed for me." "I'm glad I was able to help you. I can't wait to tell my daddy how good I did." Looking at Stromboli's watch, she realized it was past her curfew time. "I should be going home now, Mr. Stromboli. I have school tomorrow, and Daddy wants me in bed by this time." "School? My dear child, why would you want to go to school?" Stromboli asked. "Because I want to learn to be smart and know right from wrong so I can be a real girl." "A real girl?" "Oh, that's hilarious!" Stromboli started to laugh out loud. "What's so funny about me wanting to—" Hold on, sorry, I messed that up. "What's so funny, Mr. Stromboli?" Annabelle inquired. "You wanting to be a real girl, that's what's funny," Stromboli continued, laughing hysterically. "Why is me wanting to be a real girl funny?" Annabelle didn't understand why Stromboli thought it was so funny that she wanted to be real. "Because you're a wooden puppet and you can't be a real person," Annabelle felt sad when he said this. Pinocchio was furious at Stromboli for lying and trying to crush her dream. "But my daddy was a puppet and he became a real person." Stromboli kept laughing like he didn't believe her. "Well, I'm going to go home now, okay?" A mean, sinister look started to appear on Stromboli's face, which made Annabelle shake a little. "You're not going anywhere, my little wooden lady." Stromboli finally began to show his true colors and suddenly flipped the table. Annabelle fell over, and before she could escape, Stromboli seized her and lifted her up. "You're going to be my new star puppet and make me filthy rich." "Hey, what are you doing? Let me go! I don't want to be a performer!"
she yelled, trying to break free, but the puppet master had a tight grip on her. You don't have a choice. In fact, I've still got your father's old birdcage in my caravan. That will be your new home, Stromboli said sinisterly and started carrying her into his caravan outside. No, no, let me go! Help! Help! Daddy! She cried, kicking and screaming. Seeing his daughter in danger, Pinocchio stepped out from his hiding place and yelled furiously at the puppet master. Stromboli! You get your greedy hands off her! He shouted angrily. Stromboli turned around, and at first he didn't recognize Pinocchio. Who are you, young man? He inquired. Daddy, help! Annabelle cried, but Stromboli covered her mouth. Daddy? Wait a minute. It's me, Pinocchio, and I'm here to get my daughter back, he exclaimed and pointed at Annabelle. Well, well, it's been a long time, my old friend. I see you've grown up and you're no longer a puppet. Stromboli was surprised to see Pinocchio wasn't wooden anymore, but it didn't matter because his plan had worked. You haven't changed after all these years, you greedy old man, stealing living puppets like you tried to do to me. You belong to me, Pinocchio. I bought you from Foulfellow and you abandoned me. Because of you, my show was ruined, and now I'm going to take this little one as payment for you deserting me. I never belonged to you or Honest John, and I won't let you use my little Annabelle for your dumb puppet shows. Now you let her go, or I'll call the police. You won't be calling anyone. I knew you'd come for your child, and you walked right into my trap. Seize him! Honest John and Gideon suddenly appeared from behind Pinocchio and grabbed his arms and legs. He tried to shake them off, but the fox had a tight grip on him. If it isn't our old pal Pinocchio, long time no see, said Honest, who began tying Pinocchio's arms behind his back. I see you've changed since the last time we saw you. Honest John, you double-crossing swindler, Pinocchio shouted angrily. I see you two crooks haven't changed either. The fox and his partner forced their captive down on his knees. I knew it was a trap, Jiminy shouted. Why are you doing all of this? I thought you were my daddy's friends, Annabelle asked when she saw Honest John and Gideon tying her father up. Friends? Ha ha ha! You thought wrong, you silly wooden girl, said Honest John, laughing at her. You're just as silly and foolish and gullible just as your father used to be. Now, Pinocchio, said Stromboli, you're going to tell me what I want to know. I want to know how to bring these puppets to life. Pinocchio realized if he told Stromboli about the Blue Fairy, then he would try and capture her as well and use her to bring his puppets to life. I'll never tell you how Annabelle and I were brought to life, he replied angrily. If you won't tell me, then I'll turn your precious little girl into firewood. Stromboli picked up an axe and held it up to Annabelle's neck. Daddy, help me! Annabelle screamed as the puppet master moved the blade closer to her head. No, please don't hurt her, Stromboli, Pinocchio begged. I'll do whatever you want, just let Annabelle go. Then tell me how you brought her to life, Stromboli demanded. All right, I'll tell you. No, don't tell him, Pinocchio, Jiminy pleaded. Outside the tent, little Figgy had been tracking down Pinocchio and Jiminy after she had lost their tracks. When she made her way inside, she started looking around for the others, but didn't see anyone. Suddenly, she heard Annabelle screaming. That was Annabelle! She must be in trouble! She ran to the stage and jumped onto it, and crept into the back. She saw Pinocchio pinned to the ground and Stromboli holding Annabelle ready to chop off her head. I've got to help them! She then noticed a pole Stromboli was standing behind, which was holding up the ceiling. She crept over, climbed onto it, and jumped down and sunk her teeth and claws into Stromboli's face. Ouch! Stromboli screamed in pain. It's Figgy! Annabelle cried. The kitten hissed and screeched and dug her claws deeper, which caused Stromboli to loosen his grip on Annabelle. She fell to the ground, free from his clutches at last. Get it off me! Get it off me! Stromboli shouted, waving his arms and stumbling backwards. Seeing Annabelle was free, Figgy jumped off the puppet master's face. Why, you meddling little furball! Stromboli began to chase her, but she was too quick for him. I can't just hide like this anymore. I may be weak and small, but I gotta help Pinocchio and Annabelle, said Jiminy as he bravely hopped out of Pinocchio's pocket. He jumped onto Honest John's nose and poked him in the eye with his umbrella. Ah! I can't see! Cried the fox, blinded by the pain. Gideon took out his hammer and chased the cricket around, trying to smash him. You'll never catch me, Whiskers, he taunted him. While Figgy and the cricket distracted them, Annabelle ran over to her father and quickly untied his arms. Once free, Pinocchio threw his arms around his daughter. "Oh, my princess! Oh, thank goodness you're safe," said Pinocchio with relief. "I'm okay, Daddy," she replied, hugging her father. "Pinocchio, help! Woohoo!" Jiminy yelled, narrowly avoiding being smashed by Gideon. Pinocchio ran over, grabbed the hammer from Gideon, and struck him over the head, knocking him out. "Pick on someone your own size, you big bully," Pinocchio shouted at him and threw the hammer to the ground. "Annabelle, help me!" Figgy yelled, narrowly being grabbed by Stromboli. She ran towards Annabelle and leaped into her arms. "Foul fellow, grab them!" Stromboli called out to Honest John. They both attempted to grab Annabelle, but she ducked underneath Stromboli's legs and the two collided with each other. She then ran to Pinocchio, who scooped her up in his arms. "Let's get out of here," said Jiminy, hopping into Pinocchio's pocket. Pinocchio then started to run for the exit. "Oh, no, you don't! I'm not letting you escape me again, Pinocchio!" Stromboli got to his feet and started to chase after them. Pinocchio did a sharp turn and kicked the supporting pole holding up the tent, and it started to collapse. "No!" Stromboli yelled as the entire tent came crashing down on him and the cons. "Phew! That was close," said Jiminy, breathing a sigh of relief. "Good thinking, Pinocchio." "We'd better get out of here before they crawl out," said Pinocchio, and started running away, leaving the villains buried under the tent. End of Chapter 7. Okay, well, that was Chapter 7, so it looks like Pinocchio rescued Annabelle after all. And the villains got what they deserved. I doubt this is the last we'll see of them, though. So, I hope you guys liked that little chapter here. Sorry if you heard the phone ringing in the background there. Oh well. Next chapter, something very interesting is going to happen. Something that Pinocchio learned a long time ago. So, if you guys like this chapter and would like to see the rest of the story, please leave a like and comment down below. And until next time, I'm Lazbro. I'll catch you guys later.